And welcome back to PTV's coverage of Port Adelaide Family Day. I hope you're enjoying the coverage so far. It's terrific to have Jackson Trengove on board for the first half. Daniel Norton with you all afternoon. And Hamish Hartlett's going to join us a little bit later on, as well as the second quarter is just about to get underway.
I've never seen a bloke eat a pie so quickly, Daniel. You have just absolutely inhaled that pie. It didn't even touch his sides. It was fantastic to watch.
Yeah, about 4 minutes to get that one down, and now I've just eased the throat and I'm ready to go. So the umpire puts the ball down. Big Heron up against Lobes. Lobes towering over the top. Good handball by Boak, underground style to Wines. Wines to Need to Boak. How's this for footy? Brad Ebert from 52 goes long towards the southern end. Don't tell me! He's got it! Oh, terrific play. 20 seconds into the second quarter, should I say, and the Blacks have their first for the quarter. They move on to 5-2-32. Leading the Whites 2-1-13. That was magnificent, Jacko.
Fantastic, mate. Those goals are straight out of the centre. Clean play from the Blacks. Just nice handball. Boat got the 1-2 off to Brad Ebert, who was able to steady from 50 and just slot it. You know, I hope we see a lot of those goals throughout the year. It makes it a lot easier for us backmen to just press up the ground and just watch some great play. So, obviously, Lobes with the big advantage is that he's a really big man, Lobes, and he's, you know, putting his presence out there and dominating in the ruck, which is fantastic to see.
If you're watching this game interstate, online or overseas, and you think it looks a little bit overcast and it doesn't look all that warm, I can guarantee you it is still 40.4 degrees here in Adelaide at the moment. These boys are sweltering. Ollie Wines got out the centre, kicks towards centre forward. Rakawasa flew like a gazelle. The ball spills towards the front of the pack, arms and legs in there like a spaghetti farm, and there'll be a ball centre half forward for the Blacks kicking towards the southern end.
Yeah, she's just touched on the 50 there, and the umpire will just throw it up in a second. That was great play again by the Blacks. Wines able to get the quick kick forward. Lobes out muscling, tapped it forward, but the Whites snag it. Logan working hard as he always does. Berry's in. Cannot see what's going on. Ball's just been flicked out to Eamon, who's going to use his left boot. Tidies it up to Young, who fumbles, cops one on the head, and the umpire's finally paid one that's whacked him over the chops and got the free kick. So Young's come back inboard, which is penetrating kick, but there's not much up forward. Big Mace is going to have to work hard. They've chipped it out wide to a young Magpies player. I think it's Somerton. Somerton chips it up to the ruckman, working hard, but it's a 2-on-1. Paul Stewart and Broadbent have worked hard. Just got to work it out here. Paul Stewart to Broadbent. Broadbent handballs to Stevens. Quick left foot, out of bounds, and they'll have a throw in on the halfback flank. Probably 90 from goal. It's a fantastic start to the second quarter. Lobes will go up again.
Big Heron too.
Heron's been impressive early. He's just competing against Lobes. Heron tapped it down to Young. Young kicks forward. Makes sure whacks hit the juke, but can't quite take it. Homps cleans up to Jonas. Jonas left boot to Lobie. This is where he's very impressive, Lobie. He's able to run off his ruckman because he's got a massive engine. Lobie, quick kick to Muffin Calhoun, who's worked hard.
Here we've got Muffins Calhoun. We've got Tommy Coke Can Logan, who loves his zeros. It's all happening.
Very impressive. We're trying to get sponsors for the club, and we're trying to do it by nicknames. Bogue tried to jab it into Justin Westhoff, but it was chopped off there by, not sure how that is, Daniel, but it's chopped off nicely by the young Magpies player. And Westhoff's going to slide into the ruck here, so Westhoff's going to have a chance to take over from the ruck. I think Lobes will slide forward, which is quite a nice move there.
Now, is this because, of course, Jared Redden's probably out for around 6 to 10 weeks? Expecting a lot more Westhoff ruck work a la last year?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, with Lobes being able to run as well as he can and just keep mopping up, he's able to do the majority of the ruck, and Westhoff will go in there and just pinch hit and help him out when Lobes needs, you know, a couple of minutes spell. They've chipped it out to Corns, so they've done this nicely. Corns is just going to pop it up for the key forwards to fly. It's Lobes, that man we were talking about, couldn't quite snag it, but the tackling pressure's been super. Gray in there, ball's fumbling around. I think we'll get another stoppage here.
Jacko, you've missed your calling. Bruce McAvaney-like, you are unbelievable. You are on fire. Do you call when you play?
No, I don't call, but I love hearing Bruce, and he's special. But I'm very average here. I'm trying my best. Gray was pretty impressive. Gray's just got that super ability to work through traffic like no one's around him, and just fend off, does whatever he likes, and just keep it going. You know, I think Robbie Gray's in for a massive year this year. He's had that year back from the knee. You know, played some really good footy last year, but his pre-season's just grown and grown and grown. Every time he's gone out the track, the man comes into the training and you can just sort of sense a bit of bit of flair about him. He's starting to get his agility back and being able to just take them on. And with Gray, the amount of time he gets when he gets the footy, it's a big positive for our team.
Indeed it is. Very impressive work there by Robbie Gray. Nearly 5 minutes gone in the second quarter. The boys starting to blow a little bit. There's no doubt about that. The plenty of hydration being done at the moment, as you would expect. So, as Jackson Trengove pointed out a minute ago, Westhoff in the ruck, and just such a great pinch-hitting ruckman as well. He's like a 200-centimetre wingman. Harron's probably going to be in the box seat, but Westy jumped all over him. Handball into loose space. Can Kane Corns get there? Fell forward. Umpire said play on. Well done there by Pittard. He'll try and get onto the left foot, and now a magnificent kick finding Calhoun. Calhoun gives it over the top to White. Look at the speed to Jacko. Runs to 45. Drop punt on its way. Hasn't got there. Too big, too strong Lobes, and that's wonderful direct football by the Blacks. Lobie kicks the goal. He's second. And wonderful football by Matthew White. He is like a greyhound.
Yeah, it's very similar to my greyhound that's going to go around in a couple of weeks out at Angle Park.
Yes.
Daniel, he's super quick. That's what we brought him to the club for, that run, that drive to break open opposition. And he did that at Richmond probably for the second half of the year very impressively, and we were able to grab him. I don't know how, but we've got him, and thank God for that. I think he's going to be super to be able to break the lines. And as you just seen then, he was able to kick it in long. Lobes one-on-one's never going to get beaten. He's a massive mountain of a man, Big Lobes. And he just threw the man out of the way and took the mark and kicked the goal.
Let's check that scoreboard. The Blacks 7-2-44 leading the Whites 2-1-13, 31 points. But most importantly too, Port Adelaide membership 40,038. Jackson Trengove, stand and applaud the Port Adelaide community. That is sensational.
Every time you look up, it's ticking. Matty White's got it on the half-back, so he's going to play forward and back, Matty White, because he's got that massive engine and he's got that speed to burn. Needs kicked it out to Corns. Corns with a little chip back to Paul Stewart. You know, you wouldn't believe Paul Stewart was sick and couldn't train on Friday, but he's come up, and I think he's had a fair few touches in this first half. He's been very good. In long to Westhoff. Westhoff one-on-one, couldn't get the job done. Rockawasku was very impressive.
Who?
Rockawasku. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but he's a terrific player for the Magpies. He's a strong-bodied defender and can run like a gazelle.
He's one of those top-up players that the Magpies have got in their 15-player senior list that will top up for the Magpies.
Yeah, he's been around the club for a couple of years now, Daniel, and just his character. He comes into training, he'll do whatever he has to do. Right. If someone asks him to, put the bag on, he'll put the bag on. If they ask him to train, he'll come out and train. I think that's the quality of the man. He's doing a good job now. Schultz has tried to hit that pack very hard, but that's a really solid grab. That's not my man Rockawasku. I think that's Archie. It is Archie. He's kicked it across goal, which is a nice kick, trying to switch the ball, but the Blacks have held him up really well.
That's your man.
This is great defence. I don't think it is. I think you're telling me the wrong
thing.
That
was your man. Rakawasku, the second one.
That was Rakawasku, the second one, who's looking impressive. Danny Butcher, who's sliding the kick long, but there's plenty of Blacks around. Fumble. Tries to fend off. Was that Wines? No, it might have been Moore. Cannot see that far.
I think what we're going to do is give ourselves a chop out here. For those listeners watching this particular coverage, we're not exactly seeing the same pictures you're seeing. We are a long way away. We don't have a player list and we don't have binoculars.
No, they've got us on Port Road here, Norton. Our resources aren't quite up to scratch for this commentary.
It doesn't matter.
Trying our best. It's kicked out of bounds. I'm on the top of a couple of tables trying to get this vision.
Careful.
Logan on his left boot switches the ball to Stephen, who's got plenty of run. The boys are breaking. Brad Ebert running hard, great kick, didn't miss. I told you the skills would get better. Brad Ebert into Westhoff, who got a couple of hands in, the umpire didn't see. That might be my boo, Rakawasku.
It is.
Who's handballed it off. Chipping, defence, but no. Stevenson straight through the midst. He must have gone to Ty Oakwood last night and ate the buttered chicken with his hands, because that's gone straight through. But he's been very good, has Stevens. Clear with time. My man Robbie Gray with plenty of time. Steady, takes the option. Paul Stewart, I'll put my house on it that he'll kick this goal. He's that good in front of goals. I'll tell you what, how good was Gray? Comes Stevens, who had a bit of a fumble, but he's been impressive too.
He had that great year, Paul Stewart, 2 years ago in front of goal, didn't he? Kicked 5 from memory up in Darwin, kicked 4 in a showdown, and you're right, he rarely misses. I want you to call this one home, Jacko.
I'll call it home. Comes in from 35. Before it even goes bang, and I've kept my house.
Got it!
Yes, I have. Straight through the centre. That was never looked like missing, Daniel.
Could you imagine if you had your house on that and it drifted?
I've just doubled up my second house.
Brilliantly done. Good call. You know your players well. And the Blacks move on to 8-2-50. leading the Whites 2-1-13. The Whites, to be honest, haven't had a whole lot of inside 50s this quarter. We've gone 10 minutes into this second quarter. Bearing in mind, though, and we predicted this before the game, that the Blacks were going to be dominant. The Whites have a very young side filled with probably 65-70% Magpies.
Yeah, I think so. I think you just got to look at how hard they're going at it. And these boys are sample players with a few AFL players, and they're having a red hot crack in here, and that's all you can ask for. The Blacks were always probably going to get the top edge over them. It was just a matter of time, and they're starting to do it now with the bigger bodies and the stronger bodies who have had more pre-seasons, and they're really taking over. But they're having a red hot crack. Danny Butcher in there. Chips it out. Strong tackle by Gray, who's starting to really work hard now. Gray's going to hold it up, and the umpire's going to come in for a quick bounce.
Yeah, good stuff. Bright sunshine now here at Alberton. 41 degrees, if you don't mind. Great crowd too. Given the conditions, about 4,000 here we expect at the moment, which is fantastic. The Whites moving it forward. They've got an inside 50 here, but only goes as far as Homps takes a strong mark in front of Mason Shaw. Gee, Mason Shaw looks big and strong. Homps in the meantime squares it to Muffins Cahoon. Muffins goes out wide towards Treats Ebert, and Brad Ebert's got it centre wing in front of the Foss Williams stand. Brad Ebert short to the skipper. What a great year he had last year. Tell us about his leadership from a player's perspective.
I think the beauty about Boak was it was just whenever he needed to step up, he was there to step up. Whether it was games to be won, he'd come in the middle and get the ball out, or whether it was around the track or training that he really needed to lift. I think that's the beauty and the quality about his leadership, is that he gets the job done when it needs to be done, and that's why the boys love him so much and why he will be the captain again this year.
Meantime, Ollie Wines had it, just a turnover there at half forward for the Blacks, but the Whites kicked forward to nobody in particular. So Tom Cleary's got it, and he's going to transfer play.
Yeah, Cleary into Muffin Calhoun, who we've called his name a few times. He's just steadying the ball off the half-back. He's going to take off with that blistering pace. Kicks it long-ish to Schultz on the lead. Schultz had 5 or 10 metres on that lead. He's a very powerful man. Lobes with some impressive speed. Schultz says, no, I'll chip it to Boak, my skipper, who's going to pay me the big dollars. He's going to get me the games, and he chips it into him, who will go back from 35 and probably slot this one, I'd say.
No, I want more than that. You put your house on Stewart. Are you going to put both houses on Boak kicking this goal? He's your skipper.
Well, I've doubled up a house, so I'll put one of my houses that I've just won back on Boak to slot this one from 35. I don't think he'll let me down.
45-degree angle. Jacko's got the house on this Boak with a number 1 on his back. Oh no, you've lost a home. Oh, Boaky!
Yeah, that's unbelievable. But I just won a house, so I've just given away another house. That's okay. It all goes to a great cause anyway. So Rivergum Homes will be looking after me for a new house hopefully soon. They might be able to chip in for the one that Boak just lost me. Thanks, Boaky.
Rivergum, of course, a terrific supporter of the club as well, and we also mentioned the excitement of a lot of other corporate partners coming on board. Renault, of course, last year. Energy Australia, as you can see behind the goals there, just next to that boundary throw, and the big Energy Australia signage as well. Terrific to see. In fact, the green matches what the umpires are wearing today. They look like green, sort of tree frogs, don't they?
Yeah,
interesting
stuff. A bit of a tree frog, but what a great time to jump on board the club. Heading into Adelaide Oval, the boys starting to play some fantastic footy, and we're going to give them exactly what they asked for. Cleary off the back line, turned over there. I think it might have been Young, who's been pretty good for the Whites. He's putting on some pressure. More Corns. Stevens on the back line. He's mopping up absolutely everything. Into Westhoff, who's had plenty of the footy today. We'll switch it to Tom Jonas, who's got an ample of time. He'll just take his time. Short kick to Corns. Stewart running, who's had a lot of the ball too. Sees an option. Piercing ball. Low. Play on, the umpire says. Brad Ebert will get their hands. Treat. Brushes one aside. Goes bang from 25. For his second goal, I think, Norts. He's been very good, Brad Ebert, but just his pace and his strength through the hips, just to brush one aside and keep the goal. Stand and applaud. This Black team's looking very sharp.
Let's check that scoreboard, Jacko. 9-3-57, the Blacks. The Whites haven't scored this quarter. From my stats, 3 inside 50s. They're 2-1-13. So a 44-point margin, not really unexpected. And the Blacks will probably go from strength to strength as the afternoon goes, but as Jackson Trengove has pointed out a lot across the afternoon, the Whites certainly having a terrific crack given the youth and inexperience in their side. 14 minutes gone, second quarter, as Westhoff back in the ruck. Really, really good crowd. The sun just sort of piercing through those clouds again. Still over 40 degrees, 40.5 degrees here in Adelaide. So umpire puts it down, not a great bounce, and he'll say, I'll recall that one.
Yeah, he'll take another go. As I said, we're all a bit rusty today, so just give us a little bit of bit of time to get into the stride. So Westhoff will go up. The umpire's thrown it up that time. That was terrific. Newton, who slides one across, tries to kick it out to Danny Butcher, but Broadbent leads. Broadbent chips to Pittard, who's had a lot of the footy. He's been very precise with his kicking. Goes on the right, just sells a little bit of candy. Back onto the left. Chips to Stewart, who he's bought his own ball today, Stewart. Bangs it in. Lobe. That's big Lobes.
Almost moved like Schultz.
I don't mind that. He's moving very nicely and just says, look, boys, you relax, I'll go back and stop this. Don't worry about offering me a lead, I'll just say no. Schultz gives him something, but he just, says, I'll put this through, mate.
Now, I don't mind telling you, Hamish Hartlett warming up here in the green room too, so he's going to be coming on the second half. He's got a big shoes to fill fill your shoes, Jacko.
Yeah, I thought I've been very impressive in this first half of the commentary. My first crack at Norton, I've really given it me all, just like the players out here, and Loeb's has gone back and slotted his second from 35 on a tough angle. That's a great kick for a bloke that's 6'7", weighs 105 kilos. He's been good today, Lobe.
Terrific stuff. Let's check that scoreboard. 10-3-63, the Blacks leading the Whites 2-1-13. 15 and a half minutes gone into this second quarter, and significantly, if you missed it a little bit earlier on, over 40,000 members, 40,038 currently. If you want to join the club, remember the only way to get in to see that round 2 showdown, that big one that everybody's talking about, weareportadelaide.com.au. Upgrade to an 11-game membership and you will be guaranteed a seat. You can call 1300 GO PAFC as well, because they are selling very, very fast.
Yeah, Lobe will go in and tap this one down to Corns. Corns is ready, got a bit of a shove, and the umpire said, yes, you did. You got a big shove in the back and you got a free kick.
On the left.
Left boot, if you don't mind. That's O'Shea, he went to Ty Orchid last night and had the butter chicken as well. Handballs it to Cleary, who's got an ample of time again. Handballs back to O'Shea. They're just toying with him here a little bit. Tom Logan just puts his head over the ball like he always does. Takes off. Quick left foot kick to shoot. 55 out. Thinks about it. Thinking about it. Sees an option. Need gives him something. Says no, thank you. I might just go back and put this through the big sticks.
Oh, you couldn't kick it
should
from
I
there.
try and win back my house, Norton, or should I not?
He could not kick it from there.
He'll slot this and I'll put my house on it, mate.
All right. I'll bet you a Coke and a cherry right. He will not kick this goal. It's impossible.
Off to the cafeteria, mate. He's just put that straight through. He's put that straight through. Straight to the cafeteria, my friend.
He's got it.
Straight to the cafeteria.
That is brilliant stuff. Now, you're like Tommy Logan. You like your Coke Zeros?
Coke Zero and a, what did you say? A cherry right. Fantastic, mate.
Cherry right.
I'll be the solo in the box
Weights
here now.
Coke Zero for weights, for Jacko. I just want to bet, yeah.
It's smashing the window. It's going to smash the window.
Coke Zero and a cherry right. That's fantastic. He slotted that from 55, Schultz. He's a dead eye. If I had to put my house on anyone, it'd be Stewart and Schultz, and they've both delivered for me. Unfortunately, the skipper couldn't quite, but that would have been 3 houses. And I'm a house up here today. It's been a great day for everyone, obviously.
Terrific. We're about to tick over to the 18-minute mark of this second quarter, and it's been all the Blacks in this quarter. They have piled on the goals. 7 goals in this quarter towards the southern end. The Whites trying to work their way through, wrapped up by 2 Blacks. You know what the really good thing, what I've noticed about this game today, both from the Whites and also the Blacks, is that there's competition for spots. You're desperate to get a game next week against the Crows at Richmond Oval.
That's it, and that's when your football club becomes strong. It's when you're fighting for spots and you're not sure whether you're going to get a game, and that's what it's about. Big May Shaw's gone into the ruck now, and Ben Newton's rewarded himself with a free kick from the umpire who spotted that from a mile away. Great umpiring by the blokes in green here today. They've kicked it out wide, the Whites, to young Benny. Benny sees the lead up, ignores that, might go long, which is a good option, I think. Kicks it in long. Pittard's read that like a Harry Potter novel. He's just sat back and said, I'll take that, thank you very much, off the back there.
He loves writing too. We all know about Jasper's diary.
Does whatever, but chips to me, who was able to stretch and take the mark. Chips into Westhoff, who no worries takes the mark. Kicks it wide, which switches the ball to Broadbent. Broadbent on the halfback flank, running hard. Sees an option in Moore. Spots him up. That's a terrific kick. That's a 45-minute bullet in front of him, and he's just taken it in the jukes. And Moore will kick back into the centre. They're playing well. Hom's just got a truckload of time here. I'm not sure who's playing on him, but he's just taken off. And my man Butcher couldn't quite hit him. Butch runs on and sees the ball trickle over the line in the forward pocket, and they'll get another chance to kick a goal here, Blacks.
Not long to go in this quarter before half time. I think the players hanging out for a break at the moment, a drink. I was going to say a Drake. That's a half cross between a drink and a break. About 30 seconds left, Jacko. Get another one over the line for the Blacks.
I'll take this. I think Robbie Gray he's lurking for a goal, but the Whites have been able to defend. He'll kick it out. Absolutely sweating for a drink, these blokes. All they want is a little bit of liquid in the throat. Kicks it to Pittard, who stands underneath it. I've just got my Coke Zero and my cherry right because I've won a bet here. Out of bounds, and I think that'll be it, I think.
Fantastic. There's your Coke Zero. Richly there. Thank you, Wakes. And, well, look at that, hitting the back of the throat. You love it. So nearly half-time. Boundary throw-in. Big Lobes is going to, like a step ladder, pushed out the way. Well played there by the Whites, and Carl Amon's got it. Chips on the right foot, and there can't be long left. In fact, there it is. There's half-time. And a terrific quarter of football by both teams, but the Blacks certainly dominant on the scoreboard from that perspective. They lead 11-3, 69 to the Whites, 2-1-13 at the break. A margin of 56 points by my mathematics. Jacko, some of your better players.
Well, I think the midfield's starting to take over. I think Lobie's been dominant in the ruck, and he's been able to get it down to the players like Wines, Brad Ebert, who's been able to get himself a couple of sausage rolls. I think those sort of players through the midfield. Muffa Calhoun's has had a ball on a string. And Paul Stewart, absolutely dead set, bought his own Burley, Sharon,
whatever you call it
is.
Ross Faulkner.
He has bought any sort of football with him, and he's just playing with him. He's had kick after kick. And as you said, the Blacks are looking strong. But on the White side, they've been cracking in, hitting bodies, tackling. Big May Shaw's been impressive, moving into the ruck and out forward. So it's been a good half. I think it'll only improve in the second half.
Before we go, you've been a star, and we know they're still rolling before we break for the half-time break. Yourself, your knee, how's it coming along? Port fans want to know how far away are you? How's your rehab?
Yeah, it's been coming along really well. I'm probably a couple of weeks ahead of schedule, so I'm sort of still taking it a little bit slow because I'm waiting for things to heal. But it's coming along better than what I expected, and all things going right in the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to tick over and get back in when I want to.
Terrific stuff. Great to have you, Jackson. Dom Cassisi we can see warming up out there. Chad Wingard as well. They're going to be coming on after half-time. I can't wait. And joining me in the central commentary position for the second half coming up soon is Hamish Hartlett. Let's just check that score one last time. It's the Blacks, 11-3-69, leading the Whites, 2-1-13.